in Clarkson, New York for the Good Neighbor Days and a Lumberjack competition. We got some Jacks, we got some Jills, but mostly we got some loud, furious hot saws. Get ready for Lumberjacks.
Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, only professional grade with 5-year warranty. Crown, protect, maintain, save. The new YouFind Fish app. Fish with your phone. Humminbird, simply, clearly better.
We're here on the banks of the Genesee River in western New York for Clarkson Good Neighbor Days and a Lumberjack competition being hosted by the New York State Lumberjack Association. Hi, I'm Bill Debo with co-host and Lumberjack sport analyst Rod Cumberland. You know, Rod, we had a great start to the competition last week. We're looking to continue right along with that. This week we're featuring the Underhand Chop and the Hot Saw. I love the Hot Saw. I know everybody loves the Hot Saw. It's one of your favorites.
I love the Hot Saw too. Big and loud, lots of power. Paul Finnegar and Dave Engasser probably have the biggest hot saws here. I'd look to them to kind of take first place in the hot saw, but in the hot saw event, anything can go wrong.
And the Underhand Chop, one of the axe events coming up as well. I know you like Finnegar and Engasser in that as well, but who's going to give them a challenge?
Yeah, Matt Marks and Mike Kors, they've been chopping a long time. They're really good axemen, and if anybody can give those guys a run for the money in the Underhand Chop, it's those two.
The Genesee River on the shores of Lake Ontario, where the sailboats are coming in, and the city of Rochester. We're actually in Clarkson for Good Neighbor Days, an annual celebration of events, and the Lumberjack competition. Last week we had Dave Engasser winning the double buck, and the axe throw puts him up by 100 points over Paul Finnegar in second place. We're about to get started with the Underhand Chop. They'll be chopping through 12 inches of aspen. In total, we had 16 competitors competing in the Underhand Chop. We're going to be showing you the top 3 heats, and we're going to get started with a couple of veteran competitors, Engasser and Kors.
Dave Engasser, Virgil, New York, line mechanic for New York State Electric and Gas.
Hi, my name is Mike Kors. I live in Warren, Pennsylvania, and I have my own tree harvesting company.
Well, you know, as you head into any chopping event, whether it's springboard, standing block, or the underhand as we're coming up, axe selection's got to be critical to match the wood of the day.
No question. I bought and sold axes from Eddie Fawcett, who manufactures Tuatai axes in New Zealand, and he'd make 10 axes all the same exact grind, and one of them would actually out-chop the rest for some odd reason. So you want to try your axes before the event. Whichever axe is the freest in the wood, you want to go with that one.
Well, this first heat, we got Mike Kors taking on Dave Engasser. These are two of your favorites to win the Underhand Chop. Both guys doing really good job. Engasser makes his turn over the backside slightly ahead of Kors.
That's right, and he put 2 good drivers in, so you know he's done the work on the front. He should come off the fastest in the second, and here he is chopping away. Great job here by Engasser.
You can see he's a clubber, which means he does not slide his hands, unlike most other guys.
Block split just before it came off. He holds it together, gets a block off here ahead of Mike Kors.
Engasser lowers the time to beat. So here you're talking to Corey there about not taking a third one on your driver's side.
Yeah, you see this fiber right here? If I'd have went 1, 2, and rolled that, I wasted 4 hits probably in the back. I don't know. Chasing because I didn't know where the wood was.
So this is all about, I guess, doing the front side properly, and you made a decision not to?
Yeah, I kind of had in my head what I wanted to put in it, and I was going for it. You gamble, you lose. You gamble, you win. I lost.
Hi, my name is Matthew Marks. I live in Canandaigua, New York, and I'm a self-employed contractor.
Paul Finnegar, hometown Scottsville, New York, and I am in charge of fleet maintenance for Monroe Community College.
Yeah, and in Engasser's replay, you see how his block fell apart there in the last few swings. He was taking his drivers on his second side. Usually that'll mess you up, but he kept his head, finished the block, and got a good time.
Time to beat now, 24-11. You'll notice in this next heat, Paul Finnegar is a clubber, which means he does not slide his hands, similar to Engasser in the last heat.
That's right, and of course, we're in Matt Bush country here in New York State. He's one of the best choppers in the world, and of course, these guys are mimicking his technique in the underhand.
Both guys on the go signal look like they have nice blocks of wood with no discoloring inside there, no knots or anything like to worry about. They both turn at the exact same time.
This popple is falling apart for these axes, putting a great chop in. Paul Finnegar, he got beat in the springboard chop. He wants to beat Marks in this heat.
And Finnegar's going to lower the time to beat down to a 21.06. Matt Marks almost lost his balance in the last few hits, and he comes off his block with a time of 28.94. Tell me about in the underhand chop, or any chop for that matter, The guy who turns first is not necessarily the guy who's ahead, right?
No, never actually. I've seen a lot of guys take what we call a loan out in the front, and it usually costs them in the end. Got to really do your homework in the front, cut all your wood. A lot of guys plan, I'm going to do this in 8 hits, 9 hits, 10 hits. I just cut it till my job's done, and then I turn.
Good job by Paul Feniger there, doing his homework on the front side, lowering the time to beat now to a 21:02 heading into this last heat. Couple of power hitters in Gabe Darling and Big Chris Henning.
That's right. Don't expect him in the mix because, again, Gabe Darling just starting out in this. Chris Henning's been around for a few years, but again, not big names in Underhand Chop, but they're so big and strong. Hard to say what can happen in this heat.
The 3 qualities of good chopper are speed, strength, and accuracy. I know that Gabe Darling is working on his strength and his accuracy. Speed's going to come a little bit later. Chris Henning, maybe a little bit faster.
That's right. You can see Gabe's front side looking a little bit sloppy here. His chops are all over the place, but man, look at Chris Henning. He's onto his second side already. He's putting in good drivers already.
Henning's got a melon of a log that's just falling apart right now. Chris Henning wins the Underhand Chop in a time of 20.88. Haven't seen you chop in a couple of years, Chris, and specifically I want to talk to you about your power. I mean, you've been working on hitting that block hard.
Yeah, I have. I've been working on my power quite a bit. First off, in the sport, I always, race like crazy, but I realized you stand up and hit it, and it cuts a lot quicker.
But of course, power doesn't work unless you're a little bit accurate. Pretty happy with your lines there?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. It wasn't perfect, but I got through it.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Bill.
Notice Chris Henning choking up a lot on his axe and that. He lengthens out a little bit more. He'll have a lot faster chop. But even choking up, he's good for 20.88 seconds, taking first place in the Underhand Chop.